Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I am Jessica, and this is my massive pantry. If you've ever wondered why people who live in remote places like us out here in Alaska keep such deep pantries, this is why. Out here, a quick trip to the store isn't quick. It's not 10 minutes down the road, it's hours. It's planning, it's weather dependent, and sometimes it's simply not possible at all. Storms roll in, roads disappear, ships get delayed, and the shelves that felt full yesterday can stay empty for weeks. Living here teaches you something fast. Preparedness isn't a hobby, it's not a trend, it's not fear-based, it's just how you live. You learn to think ahead, to store what your family actually eats, to build a buffer against long winters, supply chain gaps, and unexpected moments that are just part of life off the beaten path. This pantry didn't come together overnight. It's been built slowly, intentionally, one trip, one season, 1 year, and one lesson at a time. Because when you live this far from convenience, your home becomes your grocery store. So today I'm taking you inside, not just to show you the shelves of food, but to share how we make sure our family is fed, secure, and prepared no matter what the season brings. Welcome to our working pantry in Alaska. Well, we're going to start in this piece. It's not my dirty little secret. In fact, I have just tidied up this pantry before bringing you into it, and it is our upstairs pantry. And just on this side of the wall here is my kitchen. It has the regular daily spices and some baking things, but I don't keep too terribly much in the kitchen. Mostly the things that I'm going to grab out are right here, and it's just a couple of short steps away from the kitchen. We have worked really hard on bringing this pantry back and building it up a little bit further because I have realized very, very quickly that it takes a bit more than what anyone could expect to have a pantry of this size. But also, when we fell on hard times, we ate our way through a lot of the pantry, and we are back to a position where we can build this out again. And I really just believe that having a full stocked pantry is preparedness, not panic. So when we do fall on hard times, as everyone does, the life's ups, downs, health, financial, you name it, if you have a fully stocked pantry, you are not panicked when those things come. So I am just such a big believer in it. So let's do the tour of the upstairs pantry, and then I'm going to show you my dirty little secret. Not everything is Pinterest worthy in this house. If you've been with the channel for any amount of time, you know that we have a rotating system. It starts with some items, all the way as big as a 5-gallon bucket of things or 50 pounds, what have you. And then it moves into smaller increments until it makes it into this pantry or the kitchen. So that is how our system works. So keep in mind, you'll see duplicates of things, and that's because we're working and rotating through it into a usable size. The square footage of this pantry is it's about 16 foot long. It doesn't really necessarily matter how wide it is because there's a walkway down the center that leads you out into the garage or into the rest of the house. However, there are deep shelves on both sides of the pantry, and on this side, starting right here, let's talk through what we have. All along the bottom here, we have some 2-gallon buckets, and we'll talk about those in just a second, but let's just start right here on the first shelves. The beautiful sun is pouring in the window, and so there's some lighting on here. However, right here is 1/2 gallons of spices, and all of these spices work their way into the kitchen where we have daily spices. This was something we did not stock up on in the last month. However, if we see anything that's out, I'll go ahead and add it to the shopping list. Working our way up here are smaller spices that I just don't keep as much on hand, or they are things that don't fit on the shelves in the kitchen. For example, this is some citric acid. I have a 1/2 gallon jar of it. up here. It just doesn't fit in the kitchen, but when I'm canning or I need to grab it very, very quickly, I can. And this is an easy size, excuse me, that I can haul in and out of the kitchen, nice and simple. But let's look for something like cilantro, dill seed. There's some other things like clove or very, very strong spice that I don't use a ton of. So these are in quart size, and then they work themselves into half pints in the kitchen. This shelf here is Aaron's store-bought spices. He likes these meat church spices, and we can now buy them at like Lowe's and local stores. And then there's just some other things from popcorn seasonings and ranch mixes and so on like that. So those are pre-mixed different spices. This next rack here, we have everything that is from corns to big ranch dressings or cheese for popcorn, a pit barrel, and then some dried things like there's some lemon and orange behind here, as well as some dried cinnamon. I got these cheap crates and then painted them black and just used them in the pantry. This one is full of teas and coffees and drinks, and you can see here like some sugar-free raspberry or different flavorings that you might add to coffees and stuff. That's really nice to have all of that on hand. And then the pastas are in 3 of these totes as we work our way along here. So done with the first section, we're now going to talk about this one. I might as well start at the top. Here we are, pastas, kind of some breadcrumbs and a few things that just didn't fit, and then more pasta as mentioned before. This would be beans, peas, and lentils in all of the beautiful colors, as well as a shelf of all homemade jams and jellies from plum to blueberry, as well as like this Alaska blueberry, which is a currant, and some strawberry rhubarb. I grew that rhubarb. I did get the plums from Azure. I think the plum jelly is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. The next shelf down, other than the sea salt, it's mostly rice and pastas. So when I open a bag of egg noodles, and I don't use all of it because I'm just doing enough for me or one other person, what have you, I put them in the jars. Elbow noodles, any of the different pastas, all of the kinds of rice you can imagine, from basmati and jasmine and long grain white rice and so on. We have a couple of salts, and then we do a lot of quinoa. So we have a ton of different quinoas, from multicolored back there to solid colored ones all the way along here. I recently received a question, do we have a microwave, or where is our microwave? It's right here in the pantry. It's just right off the kitchen. The dishes that we are using are not microwave safe, so I do keep a couple of dishes in here. White's used the plate today, the big plate, to microwave something, but we do have a microwave and a toaster. 2 sections down and move to the 3rd. This portion of our pantry we kind of refer to as the baking section. So you can see we did dried things like pastas and beans. That's all together in one section. Spices are all together in one section. And then these are baking, but in our baking, we do have everything from chocolates to dried fruits and nuts. Let's take a look right. Starting way up there at the top, and that black tote is everything for Aaron's smoker, and then things like plastic, silverware, spoons, plates, and bowls. And the higher we go up on these, the less things are used, because I have to climb up and down on a step stool to get to this. So we have some different grains and cereals like cream of wheat, or what is that? I know what it is. I can't think of it. Hemp hearts. There we go. A little bit of overflow dried fruit. Some things for canning like pectin. cornstarches, and some different drink mixes like hot cocos or buttermilk. Here we have some baking chocolate and then some almond bark. I feel like we're totally stocked up on all of this right now. I'm not gonna add any of this to our shopping list for the month of March. However, we'll just kind of go through it. So tons and tons of sprinkles for baking. These are some different baking cups and things like that. Lots of different puddings, and then additional extracts that are not vanilla. So we have like lemon and almond and different things like that back there. One of the most expensive things in a pantry is dried fruits and nuts, and we do slowly add to this. However, I do say to everyone, you could literally come in here and make any trail mix you can dream of, and a lot of it is really, really good quality. In fact, when I find Aaron in the pantry, he's often snacking on this shelf or this one. So up here we have everything from dates to what are these? Raisins, coconut. We have dried cherries and mango, and these are not date. These are dates. What are these? Apricots. Did I say apricots? These are apricots. Those are dates. So we have figs and blueberry and raspberries and all of the different kinds of dry fruit that you can imagine up here. And then this level is where we keep all of the chocolates. Chocolate chips. We have everything from dark to semi-sweet to white, and everything. These are kind of a mint chip, and then I have some of those banana chips back here. These are chocolate covered coffee beans, and then back behind there, all of this is nuts. Any nuts that are not here but I keep a lot of on hand, like almonds, walnuts, pecans, those are kept in the freezer, and so I don't keep much more than a half gallon of nuts out at room temperature just because of the oils in it. These spoil very quickly. But if you want to keep any kind of nut long term, just go ahead and pop it in your freezer. It is no big deal. So we have peanuts back there and pistachios, cashews, macadamia nuts, all of those things. And then down here we have kind of some overflow, but a couple of different like praline pecans. These are lovely. They're candied. Another one of our favorite candy nuts are the butter toffee, and a lot of times that's in the half-gallon jar, but I just didn't have an empty half-gallon jar. They got stuck on the shelf, and then boom, they were opened by someone standing in the pantry here snacking. A couple other nuts back there, and then a couple of things like the pitted prunes. I don't have a jar available for these right now, but like when we work our way through the rest of these apricots, I can fill it with prunes, and then we continue to rotate and change things out. Pears, lovely. And then elderberries, we are gonna be doing elderberry syrup in the next couple of weeks, but just mostly a bunch of overflow and things that need to get to on this shelf. The final section here ends with our grain mill, and I have been doing a lot of grinding lately and making sourdough, and so it's nice having the grain mill. It's nice having the einkorn, which is what I prefer as my grain, just here and handy, and I've ground grains twice this week. So moving up one shelf, we have some odds and ends for baking, everything from that jetted puff marshmallow to corn syrup and some odd seeds, so like sesame seeds and pumpkin seeds and shelled sunflower seeds and so on, as well as some different jams and jellies. Many of them have been gifted to us. And then this shelf, these are cherry and fireweed, all of the different ones, some mint jellies, a couple of store-bought ones, and then Cody and I started working our way through these tiny little ones as of late. and I just like to try them out and put them on a piece of toast in the morning. The very top shelf has some alcohols and some oils, but some half-gallon jars. So I left a bigger gap here in order to get tall things like this vodka is making vanilla for me, as is this whiskey. We have some almond oil, or not almond, avocado oil, some different vinegars, molasses, anything along those lines goes in this shelf. I'm not doing the full breakdown of every single item because I have done that before, but mostly you and I are taking a look at what is in the pantry and what still needs to be filled in, and mostly that's going to be in the basement. So I'm trying to breeze through this in order to not overwhelm the video with every single item that is in the pantry. Because it's a multi-purpose room, we have everything from milking the cow. I have some different cow things there to being able to iron and, you know, all of that. And then this shelf, so we did add some closed shelves because, well, that isn't that pretty to look at. So everything here is for dogs on the lower two shelves, from shampoos to treats to puppy pads and little outfits that we put them on, and masks and different things that they might need. And then that entire shelf right there is our emergency candles. You and I recently refilled those, and then we have some light bulbs, things like that. And on top of these, we have some overflow of dishes that we just don't have space for in the kitchen. Our laundry area, because we have the washer and dryer in here. And then in this middle cabinet, we keep things like trash bags. I do keep the food saver up here, and then a different one in the basement, but I keep refills for that. Some foil, some Ziplocs, anything, because I don't want to run to the basement. And then in here is like reuse bags in case one of the dogs have an accident or something happens, you just want to throw it away in a small trash bag. I do just fold those up and throw those in jars. Your basic laundry supplies, soap and softener and scent things, as well as dryer sheets, and some OxyClean is kept in there. And then this one is some other laundry things, like when we have to wash our outdoor gear, but we want it to be waterproofed again, as well as overflow cleaning things like toilet bowl cleaner and glass cleaner and those different things. And then there are some additional dishes, as well as a pasta roller. My goal this month was to have this completely filled out, and we did a fairly good job. We're not missing that many spaces, and we do have a couple where we can fill in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the items that you see here, but we'll just put some stuff on the list and we'll find ways to fill in. Up there, Instant Pot and an electric countertop canner, if you will. The freeze-dried stuff, so we use our freeze dryer and preserve things that way. We have fruits on this one, so everything from store-bought Honeycrisp applesauce, which I love that these fit on the shelf based on size, and then a couple of different things there, from cherries, I think these are pears, yep, and pears down here. More canned fruit, and then we decided to just fill in with some canned fruits from Costco. And these pears, we have ate those. Those have been amazing. I got the pears from Azure. These are home canned things we grew, so some collards and some greens, as well as some beets. And that's our tomatillo salsa. We made this from our own tomatillos that we grew. What a great harvest that was. Cowboy candy and different things, as well as this is leaf lard that is canned. We have 2 jars of home tomato sauce for like spaghetti. We're almost out of hot sauce again because Aaron goes through that like absolute crazy. A few more jars of peaches that we got from Costco. And then this is some canned relish. In the pantry, we keep our pots and pans that are not hanging, but the heavy, heavy ones, you can kind of see a little bit of bow in that, as well as canning lids and things that I might need. So big stock pots and all of our enameled cast iron, not our regular cast iron, but our enameled is kept in here. One more shelf, one more rack to get through. The honorable mention is the rolling cart. I have a bunch of canning stuff underneath it, like jars and lids that I can just reach in here. But this is kind of where our protein and our collagen, some creatine, those sort of things has kind of landed, because we go through many of these on a daily basis. And so they're just nice and easy to grab. But this cart is amazing to roll things in and out of the kitchen. So going to the last shelf. Woo, where do we want to start? Let's start at the top. Those are out of Cody's house. So those are hers. She has moved out, but she'll take these things. So we'll ignore that. Overflow on the collagen and the proteins. And then that is just different kinds of fat. So those Crisco's are expired, but we use them to make emergency candles. And then there's like coconut oil, any kind of fat like that. Our couple of store-bought purchase things that aren't home canned. We have everything from tomato paste to almond milks, the sugar-free different things, to spaghetti sauce, mayonnaise, pickles, some vinegars. Here is kind of an overflow of canned goods that we keep in the basement, so I don't have to go down there every single time I'm cooking. I can come in and grab a can of corn or some canned milk if I was doing something. And then that's super nice to have one shelf devoted to that. This is why, and we're completely out of our own canned chicken at this point. And we have chickens coming, so this will be rectified before too terribly long. I mean, we have to get the chicks and they have to grow out, but we have some homemade chicken broth, 2 cans of potatoes left, some better than bouillon, some different store purchase things. Aaron loves this W sauce here, peanut butters, some peppers back there, the mandarin oranges, and kind of some jellos, anything like that. So this is meats or proteins. So everything from Vienna sausages to home canned salmon. So these are smoked, and then this is not smoked. And then Spam down here. That is all home canned beans. Everything from black eyed peas to black beans. And then like these cans we turn into refried beans. And then this shelf is all completely empty. There isn't a single jar of food on that one. We need to rectify that as well. Down here we have some marshmallows and some Christmas candies. I think we ended up with just one bag of the Christmas candy left. We could make some Hugs cookies. They have Christmas wrapping, but the chocolate itself is not a Christmas flavor. So we can make some cookies or something out of that. Some other empty storage jars. Down here is where we keep like the stick blender and one of our mixers, the cherries we've never gotten to, a little bit of vinegar, and down on the floor, way down here, we have a couple of totes that are some store package things, from cake mixes to muffin mixes like this, some boxed soup, some different Knorr pasta sides, if you will, and then some biryani, I think is how you say it, like that's a seasoning for a rice, but those are pretty full, so we don't really need to add any of that to our list. Here's the step stool I'm using even to film this video. Over there, we have our milk fridge. There are some cheeses. Well, let's take a look. We have a dairy cow, so her milk, plus when we did our Azure haul this last month, we had some pickles and stuff, as well as everything from horseradish, and there is some sauerkraut back there, and then some different cheeses from Azure. So we kind of keep that stocked up. And gallon milk jars. They are so cute. You guys, my neighbor Amanda made those labels for me. They say peaches and cream dairy, and that is a little jersey on it. So cute. But I keep all of my jars here so that we can rotate through and give them to neighbors. 5 gallons down there of vinegar. We put it in a usable size, but I don't like hauling it up and down the stairs, so it stays there. And then my big All-American canner is up here as well. Here are the different grains, everything from barley to oat groats to buckwheat and so on. And then over here are the things that I use regularly that are I need bigger quantities, like flour and rice and brown sugar, and some of it is just overflow, where I open a package of rice and I need a little space for that to go. It'll go down here, and then I have a couple of backups there. 2 regular baking chips, like we do fill that whole thing with it. 2 quinoa pastas, white sugar, oats, anything along those lines are kept in these nice 2-gallon buckets, and they're super easy for me to carry them in and out of the kitchen and do exactly what I need to do with them. So there we have it. There's our main upstairs pantry, and we'll head to the basement now, where we keep food that is packaged in a way it can store for 30 years, plus all of our deep freezes. I am trying to get this space picture perfect. In my mind, is completely full. So I am making that investment. I am spending that time, and I am trying to have it completely filled out. And I just think it brings me so much peace of mind. And then I share it with you guys because I think, I hate to call folks nosy, but I like to see what's in other people's pantries or what they grocery shop for. And I think they like to see what we have. So I hope you enjoyed this part. We'll head down. I'm going to write a few things on my list really quickly so that I'm staying up on what I need, and then head down there in real time. That's what I'm doing. And then I also think I might take a picture of some of the shelves and then feel inspired to pick things up that maybe we just don't have on hand. So here's my secret. I have not put everything away. I haven't even had to dig through some boxes from our last Costco haul in order to grab some food out of them that I needed, and there's just stuff in boxes. And so I need to actually put everything that's in the bags, and then I have some boxes on the steps away. However, it's not ever as bad as we have it built up in our head. So even cleaning up the pantry today, I was like, oh, it's gonna take me forever. I should not complain. I am so blessed to have a pantry like that in order to even complain about cleaning it. So I shouldn't complain at all. And so I'm just very grateful that I have these things to put away. But I also have an issue over here. The lighting in our basement is terrible. And I don't know if you can see through there. This shelf is collapsing. It just can't hold the weight of all of these cans and so on. However, this one with all the rolling cans and stuff is just totally fine. And then when we cleaned out the cabin, we brought here my mom's stuff that, again, sorry about the lighting, that couldn't freeze in the cabin. And now I have bags of random, like I have shared 100 times. I don't buy things that we don't eat, and we don't eat this kind of soup. So now I have these things in my pantry, and I have to figure out what the heck do I do with something that our family truly, I don't even know a reason that I would use this or what I would use it in. Maybe if I did like a homemade broccoli and cheese soup, I don't know. I gotta figure out a way to get through some of this stuff. And so in order to make a list, in order to go shopping, and the reason we're going shopping is actually medical supplies and different things like that, not necessarily like beans and canned goods, but anything that we're out of course we will get and we'll refill on those things. But I'm just starting to get most of this pantry to the point where it is filled out and it is full, and that is a really, really beautiful place to be. I do have a shelf over there that maybe I can use instead of this one. I might roll that over here. We are about so that you understand where we are in my house, that red and green or red and blue pipes, that is the hot and cold water for the bathtub. I just found an antique. It is between 106 and 126 years old. We dated it of when they made that bathtub. So it is a true antique bathtub in pristine condition. And it is gonna go right here over our head. Well, we've never ran the plumbing. However, the plumbing is ran, if that makes sense. You can't probably see, because I can't see, my camera's broken. I can't see what you're looking at. I'll do it this way. Okay. So that black line right there, that is the drain to the bathtub. And then there's the hot and cold. And we are gonna have to have all of that hooked up to the tub, and that means, and then if you look over here, there is the vent to the tub. So it goes through that one that you can't see and then up in order for it to not get like a air lock or something like that. And then this is the washer and dryer that are in our bathroom, or our closet, if you will. So anywho, long story short, all of this is gonna get moved. And so if I just do a shelf down here with some additional things, it really isn't going to be too terribly in the way by not having it exactly right here in the pantry corner like what I'm used to. And as much as I would have loved these red shelves from the Home Depot to be fantastic for a pantry, they just aren't. They are not heavy duty enough to hold the weight of the amount of canned goods size-wise that it'll hold. And so when we build out the pantry down here in the basement, this will turn into much more usable space out of materials that will hold the weight that we put on. Well, I decided I would just film this area, and then I'm gonna go through and just work away at it. And I think Aaron's gonna come down and help me, but I don't think he wants to be filmed today. So let's walk through this, and then I can start putting all of this. I think I'm just gonna put the shelf over there and then just stack all of the Costco stuff on it that we have over there. So anyway. So starting here, that's where we keep extra paper goods and plastics like trash bags and parchment paper and foil and tissue, and then gallon Ziplocs as well as quarts. So those are open, and I took them out, and you saw the shelf they were in upstairs, and then the overflow of it comes down here. They were on sale, so I grabbed an extra. All that needs organized. In here is some freeze-dried foods, some milks, things like that. Our canned rolling system of all of the different things that we keep, from peas and green beans and corn, your basics, to refried beans, store-bought canned beans because we go through a ton of them, and then store-bought soups. Down here we keep vinegar, so more 5-gallon things of vinegar. I get those from Azure. And then finally, on the white vinegar, we are pretty well stocked up on that. And then we have a few oils back here, like olive oil and grapeseed oil or avocado, as well as my daughter brought that sugar from her house. So some of this stuff needs to get cleaned out and taken to her. I have some honey and some organic flour. Down here, 5 gallons of honey and sugars and salts. So flour, sugar, salts down at the bottom, including honey. Additional lids. So I get my Gamma Steel lids from Azure, and they go in the 5 gallon buckets, and slowly we've changed all of these like snap-on lids to Gamma Seal in order to just protect the food better. And I guess we can just talk about the elephant in the room that we've complained about the whole time. Canned goods, from tomatoes to broths and milks. And then down here is supposed to be fruit. And then this is random stuff from my mom's house. Down here, condiments. And we have some tuna, some canned chicken, a couple of Asian things, but mostly that's it. Those are pretty empty shelving. 5 gallon of grain. So those hold about 50 pounds. So like a whole bag of grain, and then they're in Mylar, and then with the Mylar, those will last 30 years, but we do want to rotate through them. It's not 30 years worth of food, but it is stored in a way that would last up to 30 years, whereas the 5 gallon buckets here would not last for 30 years. And then this is all of our grains. So everything from oats to bread flour to organic all-purpose flour, white flour, durum wheat, corn. I'm just reading what I see on the front. Yellow corn, organic whole corn, sucanat, which is a sugar. We'd have to regular rolled oats, black quinoa, soft white wheat. All of those would need to be ground, the hard red and so on. And then we have a bunch more grains there as well. Can you believe we're already almost done with the dry section? And it's because it's big bulk amounts of things. And we have worked really hard, you and I, on filling all of these in. And we have everything from all the different beans to the quinoa pastas. And then down there we have navy, lima, garbanzo, lentils, black beans, pinto, green split peas, yellow split peas. And then along the bottom in the great big totes, those are rices from long grain white rice, basmati, and calrose. And so that one would be jasmine. I don't have, the label fell off, so it's on top of it, but knowing what rices I keep, I would know that that's jasmine. So that is the bulk of our storage. And then down here we have, this freezer is fish. And then this freezer is our biggest chest freezer. So remember our last shopping haul, I got these. And so Wyatt just dumped them down here for me. They were 10 for $10, normally $6. You can't make that for that. But we have everything from some butters to some steaks. This is my yeast in the freezer. Chicken, and then I do kind of bag it separate. So this is chicken, and right here underneath this big chunk of meat is a bag of like ground beef. Over here we have like some bacons and different things like that. So this freezer needs a little bit of love, but for the most part it is starting to fill up. This is one of my favorite freezers. It's our fruit and vegetable, and I love that it is drawers. And recently we went and got a bunch of frozen vegetables. We repackaged the Costco size in order to have it in usable sizes that we can eat. And then this, for the most part, is pretty full. And so I don't think we're gonna work on any of that here. This one right next to it is supposed to be chicken. I have 2 bags of chicken in there, and then the rest of it is homemade dog food. Roberto was suffering from a seizure condition, and we tried making all of his homemade dog food in order to help him out. And then this is what is left, is just a few bags. So nothing went to waste, and we still have dogs, and we're still feeding them out the rest of that homemade dog food. The final freezer I'll touch on, and our dream is the big freezer to get swapped with this one. This was my son's moose, and the cow that we butchered, as well as it has some rabbits that we grew, some hams, but now it is all just kind of store-bought beefs and pork and different things like that. Because Aaron is carnivore, this freezer gets worked through really quite quickly. And we would like for the big chest freezer to be the meat freezer, and then this one to be something else like butters and different products from our cow. That would be great if it was like a dairy freezer. This would be enough butter to last us a year, but this is not enough meat to last our family even 6 months. And because I said I would be honest, that is not all Pinterest worthy. Don't make me do it. Don't make me do it. I'm gonna do it. There's a bunch of Christmas trees that are supposed to be in the Christmas storage over there. There is some of the wreaths that haven't been put away. Over here, we have generators that we pulled out of the cabin. Oh, we had to use them because we lost power. And so they're right here by the back door. There's the sugar that I needed to put away and the paper towels. And look here. This is where I like brought stuff in and just kind of dropped it, if you will. And then Cody moved, and so we repackaged her stuff. And so here are additional boxes. I need these because I'll use them in the garden, so they won't go to waste. It's not a big deal. Like this one had all of the pasta in it. Remember, we bought this together. That has been put away the way that it's supposed to be put away in the upstairs pantry. So there are empty boxes that need to be broken down. And then we have some water storage here. Remember, we had to go and buy those because we lost power and therefore we lost water. And when we lost water, we needed it for the cow. And so we have water storage down here, and it's just a space that totally needs overhauled and cleaned and dealt with. And that's the reality. There's a mattress, more cardboard boxes. I'm just looking around and being like, are you kidding me? This is like a week's worth of work. But what I have managed to do around here, bunny trail, I have gotten like my closet, several of the bedrooms, Cody's room, Caleb's room, White's room. So I'm out of bedrooms. And the office, as well as many other spaces, we have totally cleaned, deep cleaned, like loads and loads to the Goodwill, got rid of stuff, dealt with everything, deep clean, the whole 9 yards. And we have been working on the medical area that is in my closet. And that is what I'm going to be sharing in the next video. So with all of that said, even though this is a week's worth of work, I'm about to start seed starting, which all that section over there is my garden section. All of that is going to be put into good use. And so this just needs to be overhauled. Tell me I'm not alone. Tell me I'm not the only one that brings things in, doesn't get to it. You move on to the next project and then you circle your way back. And that is the truth of where we're at right now. We need to circle back and work on this pantry and this basement from one end to the other, including all of the storage stuff. So with that, I hope you enjoyed a view into the pantry. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for being here. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. If you ring the bell, you'll get notifications and you won't miss anything that we do around here. And thank you for being part of the pantry and the hauls and just taking a look at all of the different things that we keep on hand and why we do what we do. And I want to just reiterate in the end of the video, it is not about panic. It is about preparedness and being prepared for whatever life may throw at you. We're not, how do you say it, doomsday preppers? We're not that. We truly believe that life throws emergencies at us, including loss of job for 6 months, no income coming in, health struggles that have nearly wiped us out, and we have ate through our pantry multiple times. And I never planned when we moved to Alaska to actually eat through this pantry. And yet We had to eat a ton of it when Aaron was laid off. And so it has been a very real lifesaver for us multiple times. And that is why I'm passionate about sharing it. And then I share it with you, not because I'm not paranoid of what is going to come. What I want is you to be inspired to take some idea, no matter what it is, and do it for yourself at whatever scale, whatever level that you can in the space that you are blessed with. So with that, thank you for sticking with me through all of it, the thick and the thin, the messy and the Pinterest worthy rooms, and then the true disasters that are my life here on this Alaska homestead. So thank you, thank you, thank you. With that, be blessed. Have a fantastic week. Find something to be grateful for, and then do something for yourself, even if it's 1 or 2 extra cans stocked away for a rainy day. I would love it if you would just do that for me and for yourself. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.